that we have our next guest to talk about ministers are saying that new guidance on sex education in England will stop children, quite rightly, from learning about abortions, contraception or gender identity too early. It's understood those lessons will take place when the kids are 13, but not when they're under 9. I'm delighted to be joined now from the Director of Campaigns at Sex Matters, Fiona. Fiona, I'm not going to say you a second. Have you got a sense of humour?
Oh, yes.
Hey, McAnena. Sorry.
That helps you remember, Jeremy. That's fine.
I love it. Hey, McAnena. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Fiona McAnena. But anyway, on a serious note, this is something we wanted to do it earlier. We couldn't. I am a father of 6. I find it so wrong that what I call the sexualisation of children seems to get younger and younger. To me, this is really good news. What would you say about it, Fiona?
I totally agree. I think it's long overdue because teachers have been asking for help to know what they should and shouldn't teach. The whole thing has been somewhat politicised in the past. It's been a wild west of all kinds of providers bringing their own ideologies into schools. And I think that clear guidance that tells teachers and parents what to expect is just what's needed.
From yourself, the Director of Campaigns at Sex Matters, what do you believe is the template for young kids? So this is about classes on relationship will not start before year 5. So there has been evidence, has there not, that certain children at certain schools, I presume because there isn't the right guidance or teachers have decided to make their own minds up about these things, have been talking incredibly in advanced ways sexually to kids of all ages. So is that just an individual thing? Is it because of lack of guidance, or is it schools trying to push their ideology onto children of a young age? What do you think?
I think there have definitely been groups trying to push ideology. Stonewall, for example, has a schools champions scheme. And what's happened is, I think, a sort of good idea about tolerance and acceptance and inclusion has morphed into a slightly extreme idea about teaching children about all kinds of possibilities, including impossibilities, like that they can choose what sex to be, or that stereotypes, far from being harmful and limiting, are actually proof that maybe they were born in the wrong body. So I think some of it's accidental, but I think a lot of it is intentional. And that's why we welcome the fact this guidance is statutory. That means that schools have to follow it. I mean,
I'm with you. I think it's astonishing that it's taken this long. And I've heard too many stories. I said one yesterday on the show, and I don't want to talk in any great detail, but a friend of mine talked about how a daughter of her friend is still traumatised, 12 years of age, having gone to school, had a sex education lesson, and was shown a rather graphic porn-related video, and is quite a young 12, and it's really, really affected her. And, of course, I think you're right. I think there's a bigger issue, is there not, that we, in this world, in this world that we now live in, this quest to be as balanced as possible and, as you said, be diversive and be inclusive, we seem to have gone the other way. And rather than informing our kids about basics of biology and sex at a relevant age, what we're doing is, it seems, just pushing stuff on them that I don't know, is fashionable, is the latest fad, and I don't think that's right, and I don't think it's proper, and I don't think it's fair. And I'm amazed, actually, that the Tory government has taken so long to grasp the nettle, aren't you?
Well, I'm glad to see it grasped at this time. And the heart of this is that children are not adults, and some concepts are not suitable for children.
What age do you think sex education is appropriate?
Well,
Fiona?
I haven't seen the guidance, but what I understand is it's got a whole range of levels that you talk children through at different ages, and they start to learn about their own bodies, and they start to learn about other people's bodies in primary school, and then they learn about sex and relationships and all the other things. I think that adult concepts have been foisted on them in the name of diversity and inclusion, and you know, it's really not the job of children to deal with all of that stuff. And
do you think that teachers who have been calling out, demanding this guidance, yes, they'll be pleased, but I always bring it back to parents. Do you think that parents are expecting too much from teachers? Do you think society is putting too much pressure on teachers? Do you not think parents should lead? I mean, I told the story 2 days ago. Please don't laugh, Fiona, I'm nearly 60. This is how I found out about the birds and the bees. I'm fishing in the river, the Holy Brook in Reading. My dad, I knew what was going to happen. I was about 12 or 13. And he walked down and he went, right, your mother at the War Office has asked me to have a chat about the birds and the bees. And I went, Dad, it's all right. I haven't gone past first base. And when I have, I'll let you know. And then he went home. So I'm not saying that that's the right approach, but we've gone from that, you know, the awkwardness of people not being able to talk about it in front of their kids, to this, I don't know, too much openness, too young.
Yeah, well, one of the big changes with this new guidance is that parents will be allowed to see what their children are being taught.
Good.
Because that's been a real battle over recent years, and that certainly feels wrong, doesn't it? Because the parents then have no control at all. So your dad would have been either able to comfortably leave it to the school, knowing they would handle it, although it seems like you found out well enough, Jeremy, anyway.
Well, not really. I've got 6 kids. I think I got it all wrong again.
But it does put parents back in the driving seat, and it gives teachers the clarity that they need about what they're supposed to do.
Can I tell you something? Since we started this Drive Time show, I've spoken to you, and I've also spoken to another lady, Naomi Cunningham, from your organisation. You speak complete sense, and we're delighted to have you on. And I hope you do have a sense of humour as I say, hey, McAnena. You're very kind. Thank you very much.